Welcome to another episode of the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum, TIF, and our tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Series is The Emerging Lawyer. Theme is Navigating the Legal Waters Insights into Pharma and Medical Division. We have with us Aniket Katre, Manager Legal at Neon Labs Limited, a prominent pharma and medical devices company with a deep-rooted background in top-tier law firms and a robust corporate tenure. Aniket brings expertise in litigation, contracts, intellectual property, and labor laws. His career has been marked by leadership in litigation strategy and IP management and offers fascinating perspective on the evolving legal demands of the pharmaceutical sector. So, Aniket, welcome to today's Coffee Conversation episode.
Thank you, sir. Let's
Okay.
sip of
Sorry.
coffee.
Okay, yeah. So just to explain you must be aware of the two rounds, the professional and the personal round, but there is a surprise rapid fire round. So you have to be witty, funny, quick, and you'll get to win this gift, Shaping the Agency Lawyer for Future.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah, that will be autographed. So friends, I'm an author of 15 ebooks, hosted coffee conversation, and legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution. So, Aniket, my first question. How has the journey been covering legal requirements for pharma industry and what got you interested in working for pharma and medical industry?
So, Amir sir, basically, my father was from pharma industry. So he worked with pharma in the sales and marketing team. That's where I used to see his pharmacopoeias and drug books, and it used to excite me a lot. And since then, I thought now I have to do something in that. But then I didn't want to go into sales. So I thought that legal field would be something that I can help the society reach myself to some good heights. And then actually I went into my first law college, that is New Law College, from where I did my law. And in the third year, I started my internship with Profit Bailey and Company with Mr. Vinayak Vengurlekar. This guy, he actually taught me, shaped me all the intellectual things, strategies, introduced me to some top tier senior counsels like Janak Dwakadas, Ram Jetmalani, Mahesh Jetmalani, all these guys, these stalwarts. I mean, I probably have my, what do you say, strategies and the formulation, the basis of any suit, case, writ, everything to this man in Profit Bailey. And then from there, venturing into some other top tier law firms like M&M Legal Ventures and all other things. From there onwards, so I had at each step some really great stalwarts who actually bought me and taught me with some really great niche laws and niche sectors in this field. So it's not some really singular person that I can give credit into for entering this legal field, but every time I entered into some nuances and some niche sector, everyone helped me to be the best of that particular field.
Wow. So now, this industry, pharma and medical devices, it has a lot of things to be catered into, like new product developments are going on, and then catering to the IPR, so many things. So how do you start preparing yourself? How and what are your strategies? This IP assets also protected. They also the company is also compliant with all the compliances and all the contractual are being managed.
So basically, the pharma sector, as you very well know, is very and very regulated sector. It's something that has gained very momentum from past few years post-COVID. But even before that, the laws were still still in force. The only problem was that people ignored it to be enforced to its absolute fineness. See, you must have heard people saying कि मेरे पास वो टाइम का अग्रीमेंट नहीं है, उस टाइम पे रजिस्ट्रेशन कंपलसरी नहीं था, and all those things. Similar things happen in pharma. when you hear certain what do you say, other departmental people, they said, नहीं sir, हमारे पास ये agreement नहीं है. It is not really someone that asked. I mean, the FD people never asked us. We always say कि sir, it was always compulsory. It was always there in the act. It's just that nobody really followed it. Everything is the same for the IP. Everything is the same for the contracts. So every time they come to us saying कि sir, ये brand तो हम use कर सकते हैं ना, सभी लोग तो कर रहे हैं ना, तो इसमें आपको क्या तकलीफ है? Then we always say कि sir, it's not like that. You just try non-compliance once, and then you can see how it pains you. I mean, it's the cost of compliance is always better than the cost of single non-compliance. So from IP to contracts to contract life cycle, then managing the litigations, everything is probably interrelated and interlinked to each other at some point of time. And it is actually very easy when you have a really good base with a good law firm and a good legal practice in some law firm. Because I feel that the base of a litigation, the base of having a good strategy formulation and a senior at your very first stage helps you navigate into your future niche legal fields. Because as they always say, कि अगर तुम्हें CA बनना है तो first 11th and 12th का basic accounting तो आना चाहिए. But if you miss on that, then probably doing your CA, you will take attempts and probably after 5-6 attempts you will clear it. Similar goes for each and every field. So this is how I think doing the base perfect and then going into specialized sectors and then managing each and every legal litigations, legal IP, and then legal contracts. It becomes very easy. So that's how it helped me a lot navigating and also managing and enforcing the legal IP and all other things in this company.
So, how critical is the role of R&D team for a legal team to work and because they are working in the formulation, all those things, and you're from the non-science background.
Correct.
So how do you go about by they are updating, you have all the information about the research or whatever the formulation, whatever they are going, and that has been the legal team is well prepared to draft and protect, make a comprehensive agreement.
Correct. So again, I go back to from what I answered in my earlier question, कि base अच्छा होना चाहिए. So in litigation, we always learn how to research for your client. So whenever a R&D team comes to us, they'll always say कि sir, शायद ये हम patent कर सकते हैं क्या? Can we copyright this design or can we copyright this? So can we register this design? So we always tell them, fine, no problem. Give us the entire set of papers. Give us each and every document. Whether you find it relevant or irrelevant, leave it to us. Just tell that you are with an in-house lawyer. Spell out everything in complete nitty-gritties. Then once they do it, then probably we have the habit. So I used to look at certain senior advocates. They used to always write down something at the margins of each and every paragraph. So they used to just jot down a line, draw a line, and then they used to write something. So I usually have that habit. So whenever I think that this thing has some, what do you say, if this is very difficult, this is very tough to understand, I always have this habit of drawing it and then asking it back to them, having some clarifications. But doing your own research is no substitute. You can't overcome that. So first do your own research, then get back to them, sit with them, ask them smallest of the smallest, silliest of the silliest thing, and then have each and everything clarified. Otherwise, you knock the doors of the registry, you knock the doors of the court, and then the court comes back to you, you don't have any answer, and then you are off. You are just tossed out. Because it's always better that you have a really good cordial relationship with the R&D team. Not only
Yeah.
R&D, but any team, sir, any team. I mean, it could be even the sales, the marketing, the HR. They have a lot of experience and things to share practically than what we actually learn in law. So it's always good to have a very happy and a very cordial relation with them. It's always easy to say for a marketing team कि sir, आपने एक दिन में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भेज दिया हमें और एक दिन में मांग रहे हो. But it's always good to understand their needs also also good to understand our delivery time also, and then equally hand in hand the company can flourish. So that's how I look at it, and I think it's always the same thing. I mean, the company always flourishes when this thing happens.
Very good, very good. Now, this is part of the R&D team. What about the management? Because a success comes through the R&D, the legal team. So, what does the management convey to the legal team and to the R&D by these are our plans, visions, and see to it that these are incorporated in while you're formulating a new drug, and legal team has to incorporate all those things by because in I've been following various what do you say movies, series, and seeing by this what do you say formulation of new drug is very valuable for the company in terms of it goes through various stages of OEM manufacturing of development. You can outsource, you can do what do you say lease out. So many things are happening. Like I was watching this series, Dr. John, where this case is the doctor himself is a CIPA what do you say patient. CIPA is
Okay.
a genetically disease. There is no cure, and this is a Korean series. He gives himself for research, goes to Cleveland, and from there, to his research work, he develops a drug, and for which is because there is no drug, what do you say, a medicine for this kind of rare disease. And with his contribution, now he's the owner of that, and he's now being coming into. So this scenario, just sharing on this
Right.
coffee conversation. So there must be various cases which have come up from the management through the R&D. Okay, this will be very useful for public at large. So have you seen come across this? So I've covered many things. So now you pick up and one by one answer.
Yeah. So fortunately, the place where I am right now, Neon Laboratories Limited and VHB Medisciences, it's basically a group company of several subsidiaries and associate companies. So we have certain companies who look into domestic sales, exports, then API formulations, and so on and so forth. But I am fortunate enough to work with certain really great ethical directors who follow not only the basic principles of pharma, but also look into whether this is right for the society and whether it is wrong for the society. So they are severely and absolutely guided by those principles. So whenever our R&D team comes to them and tells them, कि, sir, ये ऐसे बना सकते हैं, then automatically the director says, yes, if this can help us, if this can help the society, say, for example, a particular drug has certain side effects or certain probable side effects that maybe 1 in 100 persons or maybe 10 in 100 persons may have this thing. Then probably if the R&D team comes to them, says that, sir, this product, this improved thing may not have these side effects altogether. In fact, say for example, you administer a drug, it may not be great for a comorbid person, but an enhanced thing may even be safe for those comorbid persons. They are like, ki ho sakta hai, go for it, go ahead for that. So that's the encouragement we do come across in this organization. But at the same time, once it comes to the legal team, say for example, we want to have a patent for this, we want to have a trademark registered for this, they are equally cooperative and they're equally open कि इसका trademark में क्या बन सकता है, what can be the trademark for this. So it is not a simple typical management that comes, यही है, we want this only, you do whatever you want and do this. They have a basic approach. What brand names can we use? Do we have some in our kitty? Can we search for a new thing? We have come across certain trademarks that we used to search for more than 100 words. So just for a single products, we have searched more than 100 to 120 or something, all probable brand names. But yes, sometimes it does take effort, but it's worth it. So from the R&D team's perspective and the management's perspective, they both, fortunately, are very cordial with the legal environment at present. and we have a very, what do you say? It's kind of a leadership team kind of a thing. The heads of those particular departments sit together, they come up with the solution, they put it up before the management. The management understands what can be done, what cannot be done, what can be patented, what cannot be patented. We'll look for those possibilities, and then only we go ahead in the best possible foot ahead.
Wow. So now, Aniket, how do you approach drafting contracts with international compliances in mind?
So, contracts is something which is very essential for this particular industry and this particular thing, because people usually go कि सर contract नहीं है, हमारे पास purchase order है, invoice है, तो चलेगा ना सर, उसमें क्या, उसमें सारे 10 pointers लिखे हुए हैं, terms and conditions, but it is essential that you have certain indemnity clauses. It is essential that you may have certain severability clauses, confidentiality clauses, and so on and so forth. And same goes for the international contracts. So in international contracts, it is always essential that you follow the law of the land. So any country that you go into, you need to understand the type of the country and the laws they follow. Whether it is a Commonwealth country, whether it is a particular independent Dominican or some Islamic Republic or something, every country has its own set of rules, and they have a guidance to those particular laws. So it is essential that you look into those particular things independently, but it is also essential that you also have for your own company and the group to have certain, what do you say, you have the jurisdiction for some possible disputes for a seat which is not in their country, because you don't have your hands or legs in those countries. So it is always good that you have certain neutral country. It is always good if you can have it in your own self country, that if tomorrow there is some issue, come to this seat, so that both the parties are previously guided, let's not go into dispute. So that is something you need to be aware of. So international contracts, first, the compliance of those particular territories, and then second, also keep in mind the cost involved if you go into that territory, and the chances and probabilities of you winning the case if at all the dispute arises.
Wow, yes, yes. Now, Aniket, could you walk us through a complex litigation case you have managed and what strategies you use to ensure a good outcome?
So, in fact, there are several. In fact, I'll be so these strategies depend on where you are. So, say for example, in litigations, even when I was practicing, there were litigations either before the FDA, and there were litigations before the high courts, the Supreme Courts, and the lower courts. So at all levels, you have to employ the strategies suiting to those particular courts and those particular tribunals. It would be very wrong to say that you can go with the best of your attire before the lowest of the court and then rant whatever English you want. You have to say whether it is Hindi, whether it is Marathi, whether it is Gujarati in those particular territory, because that's how to those particular judges. And this is the basic of the basic thing. And then you go with several other strategies where you can delay certain matters, you can fast track certain other matters, and then you can employ certain applications, take out those applications and have certain remedies in those particular things, make certain other suits or something infructuous. So several kind of strategies, but it is always good to understand your courts, your judges, and your matter well before you enter into any strategy. So that's the key to it, I would say.
Perfectly, you have given कि भाई मैदान में उतर इसकी तैयारी किस तरह से करने का. That is what you say, army general की strategy के क्या ये. You have beautifully explained it. That judge environment वहाँ पे कैसा है and उस तरह से adapt करके your communication strategy, which you will have the battle in your communication. So viewers out there, young legal professionals who want to enter the field of litigation, understand what do you say, ground.
Correct,
And
correct.
half your battle is won, and you know okay, how to deal, because communication and putting forward your cases, everything comes, yeah, it's important, is very, very important. Second thing is your research or your preparation. But once you have established your communication, so the judge or will know कि हाँ इस एक what is affinity build हो जाता है. That is happen. If two friends meet and they're talking in their local language, so you carry on your conversation till midnight.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll share a small incident today. Today I was in High Court. I was having some trademark litigation, and you won't believe there was some interesting some law school, who had some second year law students visiting the courts for their itinerary that yes, we have to go for the court visits. So we as lawyers and from the legal professionals, we were so used to how the court functions, what the court says, the counsel argues, and then giving it back and all so on and so forth. Just before my matter started, I was sitting behind, and there were these two small kids. They were completely clueless. क्या बोल रहा है sir? कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. And 2 rows behind, I could hear it very clearly. So then I just remembered my early days when I could not understand what order the court has dictated. And later on, 2 months down the line, 1 year down the line, I could really make out what is even going to say, what probably he would say, and then what has he said. So that's how it happens. I mean, starting में एक letter draft करने के लिए एक दिन निकल जाता था. Now drafting a letter is a matter of 10-15 minutes. That's how easy, and that's how we actually flow for the young professionals.
Wow, observation is the key. So, and that learning. So, two things. So,
Yeah.
also learning from your conversation, beautiful insights you are sharing. My next question will be: how is the experience working with the government officials, FDA, and High Court? Because this is where this pharma का जो हो रहा है, it's all about research, all about figures, all about scientific formulations. So how is your experience in talking to them in this what do you say jargon, which able to understand and able to deliver what you are trying to say?
So honestly, once you are good to these officials, I mean, whenever you appear before the FDA persons, whenever you are polite to them, but as well as assertive in that fashion, they are extremely cooperative with you. They have no nuisance for you, honestly, because many a times people have a notion that FDA people, income tax people, this, that, GST, they are so rude to you and all those things. But from the very start, when you have an assertive tone with a extreme politeness to them, no problem, they'll be equally polite to you. So always remember, when I used to appear, my senior, Mr. Shaukat Merchant, he was the one who actually taught me how to really uh, uh, appear before the courts, how to speak, what not to speak, all those fashions. And he was the one who actually shaped me in this pharmaceutical law sector. He's the one who actually guided me. We had a couple of matters before the FDA, and the way he spoke with the FDA commissioners and things, it actually inspired me, because there was no bit of rudeness in his tone, but equally assertive, equally assertive. I mean, there was a point that FDA said, ki, okay, 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 but he didn't leave his tone, he didn't leave his line. It was consistently with one firing thing. So that's how you need to be.
Wow. So I'm very happy I'm having conversation because Shaukat Merchant is from our community, a senior lawyer. He was also ex National Arbitration Board chairman. So please give my regards, and I would like to do a coffee with him. Say what
Definitely.
attention. Because he has been highly respected within legal world and within our community. He has contributed a lot for this legal matters. Where we in our community we have Conciliation and Arbitration Board, national and regional. So he has been the chairman of previous chairman of national this, and I wanted to invite him. I have also written a book on अपना ये importance of will, trust and probate. So where we had a book launch, a panel discussion, and invitees, those who want to know about this topic. So three coffee speakers were the panelists, and I had tried to connect with him, but couldn't get through to invite him as a guest of honor for this book launch and panel discussion, where it was very people. There so many questions that come up कि भाई misconception कि भाई मैं खुद की मेरी will बना लूंगा because I'm part of Alliance Club, I'm the president, so I've been meeting people and there कि भाई lawyer के पास क्यों जाना, क्या ये है, all those misconceptions and many things which we
Yes.
covered during that event. So I would have this conversation with him on various topics and including कि भाई what kind of misconceptions he had faced during his or with our community people, because people don't are serious about making wills.
Okay. Certainly. I'll definitely try and connect you. I mean, the world is very small. I never knew that.
Okay, what's in?
I,
Okay,
I,
that works. So I'm proud to be from the community, and yes, so this social initiative is coming from our where we are very fortunate कि भाई in our community there is voluntary service is very ingrained, and that principles and that culture is I've been contributing to this coffee conversation.
I remember that one of the clients, some stray client, he was insisting, Shaukat sir, can we manage this particular court or something? He was like, कि manage करना है ना तो मेरे पास मत आना, go and find some other lawyer. He was that strict, and I mean, I totally adore him for that. I mean, I have some great respect for him, and from that it flows. And I'm fortunate that even in my current organization, they have a complete discipline and ethics towards all these things. So having a base with that particular ethics and then flowing to the same pipeline, it really means a lot to me.
Yeah, very true, very true. Okay. Now, Aniket, how the recent certification in the Uniform Code of Pharmaceutical Marketing Practices has impacted your work?
Work ka pata nahi, but sir, this hot coffee, after a discussion of probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, it turns cold coffee, and the value that it gains, that's the same value it has added to me. So it has made it more valuable. So the cost of hot coffee is lesser than a cold coffee, and yes, it has added a great value to it. I mean, the certification actually taught us what is permissible, what is not permissible, what are the regulations that have been made more stringent, because UCPMB was always there in some or the other form, but it always had a certain bit of ifs and buts, whether this can be done or this cannot be done. So the UCPMP made the marketing practices more concrete, crystalline. They said that, okay, this cannot be done. This can be done to this limit. Whether you can do marketing activities, who can be the speaker, whether you can pay remuneration to that speaker and whatnot. So all these things were clarified in the UCPMP. And for me, attending the advocates and marketing professionals from this industry, it actually added to my thought clarity. And I really think that it was a necessity. And yeah, it is helping me serve the company more better now.
Very good, very good. That is good to know. So now, Aniket, how has technology helped you and which legal tech tool has impacted your work?
Not one, but several. In fact, from the times we were in litigation, we had certain legal services tools to track our what do you say, daily court cases and all. But here we believe more of into manual things, but definitely we want to progress into certain bit of automation, because now it's the time of AI and all other things. You have license tracking systems, then you have certain contract cycles and all other things. And as they always say, whether AI will replace the humans and all those things. So we always believe, and in fact, that's how we in the company always think that no, never The AI will never replace the humans. It will actually help the humans, and it will probably substitute those who don't know how to use it. So you will have to adapt to it and use it. So at present, we are not really into the complete automation mode, but yes, we would do.
Good. So now, Aniket, you have got experience of working both in a law firm as well as now in a corporate legal. So what advice would you give to young legal professionals entering the legal industry if they want to, what are the areas to focus on if he wants to join a corporate legal or he wants to join a law firm, according to you?
आमिर सर, एक स्मॉल एग्जांपल, एक स्मॉल रियल टाइम ट्रू इंसिडेंट बोलता हूँ. The current Chief Justice of India, when he was there before the Bombay High Court several years back, that time I would name the advocate. Advocate, he appeared before that judge, and he mentioned, "Sir, this is my pleadings," and so on and so forth. The judge looked at it, "Mr. So and so, do you know that your petition is not actually permissible? It is not. I mean, I can't entertain this. This is liable to be dismissed at the very face of it. At the very face of it." He said, "My lordship, but this is so and so, so and so." He tried to argue. Said, "This is completely absurd. I am trying to dismiss it. Just ask your client whether he is fine with it or you want to withdraw it." He just turned back. The client was, "Saab kya bol raha hai?" Because he didn't know, he never came to courts. He was a junior lawyer in-house, and he was someone who came directly from LLB to the company, and probably from a Vernac as well. There is no problem coming from a Vernac, but then the kind of conversation that the two people were having, this advocate just turned back and said, "साहब बोल रहे हैं, तुम्हारा मैटर ना एक जज नहीं, दो जज सुनने के लायक है, तो तुम्हें ना ऊपर जाना पड़ेगा, ऊपर वाले कोर्ट में." That's how he actually fooled the client by saying कि actually the matter was going to be dismissed and the appeal was going to be filed before the division bench. But that's how he fooled him, and he actually agreed and succumbed to it. So this is how this incident actually, it actually enlightened me. To hear it, it's actually funny how it is actually fooling certain clients, but then it actually also enlightens and what do you say? It teaches you that you must equally practice before you enter into the in-house counsel area. That's how I feel. It's not a compulsion, but it's always better to know how the courts function. It's always better to know if you are drafting a contract, if at all there is a dispute, where it will go and how it actually functions, and what clauses are invoked at that particular time, and what arguments do take place on those particular points. So the main advice that I would say, after you clear your law or during what you law or during the time when you're doing your law, do practice with some good lawyer for some time. Whether you get paid or you don't get paid, that's secondary. For the basic time, at least log and learn. And once you learn through the litigations and the law firms, then you can take a call whether you want to go to practice or whether you want to go into the in-house legal practice. So that's how I would always tell them. Go for the learning first, make your base, and then flourish.
Very true, very true. Now, Aniket, how do you stay updated on the legal developments which are happening in the pharma and the medical world? And share some, what are your strategies and how do you implement those learnings in your work areas?
So, Amish sir, we have several different ways how to keep ourselves updated. One is maybe by subscribing to some platforms like Live Law and certain things. Then there are certain other places where we actually go and look into certain high courts websites which have certain latest updated judgments, either by three-judge bench or certain landmark judgments. So we do surf through them. Then you have certain other places where, say, for example, it is not particularly relating to law, But say, for example, UCPMP. UCPMP is definitely the one which is there for the lawyers, but equally there for the marketing and the sales people. So automatically, those people in those particular departments will have the first knowledge of those particular things affecting their working patterns. So automatically, when they have subscribed to some journals or some other associations, they also do come up with some emails from their associations to which the company may be a part of. So then they share it with us. So that's how we do have it. And then, of course, while going to your office or to the courts, you have a time of, in Mumbai, you would have definitely a certain time which is not less than half an hour. So it is always good to read about the developments over the search engines and all other things. So daily, there is not a single day when you actually miss out on those things, because that's the time when you can actually get half an hour to and fro. So that's how we keep ourselves updated for the latest developments in the industry as well as in the legal field.
Very good. Okay. Now, let's go to the next round and the personal round. Understand Aniket the person. Tell us about your family and your formative years, Aniket.
So, my father is from a pharma industry. He is into marketing and sales. He has now retired. Same the case with my mother. She was into a government job. Now she has retired. So, I have had no opportunity to have a family background of my legal profession, but uh, as you said, how to implement your strategies. My wife is into medical devices, so I have married to someone who is in the same field. So on a lighter note, but yeah, so I have a family which has a basic background of pharma and medical devices. Of course, they are into some other departments altogether. But yes, there from there I have those inspirations and discussions in the family.
Mhm. That's interesting. Yes. I've been, like you, there are other coffee speakers who have been inspired by their family members and they have discussions about a particular case, about understanding the nuances, which is helping when they're working on the contracts and dealing with other stakeholders. That's interesting. So now, Aniket, let's go to your days at New Law College. What actions experience you did over there?
That New Law College was the place which actually, uh, what do you say? It actually didn't teach me law per se, but it taught me how to implement the laws in the best manner. Because teaching law is it's something anyone can do, but how you can practically implement it in your real life, how you can really put it to use to your clients, to your companies and all other things, that's the place that really taught me the practical things. Because I had the late senior of mine, Mr. Rajat Deksha. He is someone who never taught us look into section so and so, look into section so and so only. He taught us, just look whether this is permissible or not, just look into it whether this can be done or not. So that thing actually triggered our thoughts and actually made us think ki, let's go back to our drawing table whether this section permits this or not. So whether it is the simplest thing of any festival of the college or anything that you have to implement in the classroom, everything was practically taught to us. So that's the place where we actually learned how to implement those things in real life. Whether you go into those particular niche sectors of pharma हो या IT हो या दूसरा कोई legal field हो, but at least you learn how to think from the legal perspective. So that thinking is important. And all those professors, I mean, most of them come from a practicing legal background, which we really, I mean, hats off to them. And from there, it has all come up to us.
Wow. So are you in touch with your professors or your alumni?
Yeah, definitely. Because in fact, these professors had at one point of time on the second year law and the third year law school, we had a group which was of professors and certain students who used to interact with them on a regular basis. And for any upcoming moot court competitions or something, they used to guide us through what can be done, what cannot be done, how you can go ahead with this. And in fact, even today, we are so close and so open that yes, something, if we get stuck at some place, they are always there to help us out. And in fact, I'll say that one Miss Kamini Ahuja, she was my what do you say? She was my supervisor when I had signed my solicitors. So I have also done my solicitors for 3 years when I started with Crawford Bailey. And then when I was switching from Crawford Bailey, at that point of time, I had to switch it with some other solicitor for next 6 months. So she was my professor and she is also a solicitor from India and UK. So she said, "Ki fine, no problem, Aniket. For next last 6 months of that 3 years, I'll be your senior and supervisor." So that's the connect that we had and we still have.
Wow, that's very or beautiful interaction memories adding to your life. So now, what hobbies or interests do you enjoy when you are not immersed in legal work, Aniket?
Um, First of all, coffee. Nothing replaces coffee. I mean, in my entire day, whenever I am tensed, whenever I feel overjoyed, and any part, coffee is the thing that helps me. I mean, it has come to me from my father. It's a complete without sugar strong coffee, and I have it at least 5 to 6 times a day, at least. And that's how it actually shapes my day. And
Oh, so my question will be, since you're a coffee buff and you're not coffee conversation show, so what type of different coffees have you discovered and had in your journey?
So I usually prefer the authentic filter coffee. That's my to-go because because that's how actually my family prefers it. And whenever in Mumbai I go to Fort for my court hearings from my office, I make it a point that without having a filter coffee, I don't return back to my office or my home. So that's the first thing. And then of course there are several in Mumbai, in Matunga area, there are certain shops which sell different kinds of locally grown coffees. So I usually tend to go there and buy some coffees after a few months. So whenever my stock is over, so that's how it excites me. And I want to try the Luwak coffee of Bali. That's I think it's one of the most expensive coffees. So that's my to-do list at present for the coffee.
Wow, my next question was there, and okay, you said you went when you're coming down to Mumbai and going for your court hearings, you go to a place for having coffee. Which is that place?
So one place certainly from ages is Purnima. It's a very small joint, and it's a South Indian joint. So there they have the decoction especially decoction coffee. So that's one place. Then comes recently they have opened Anna Idli karke hai. So that's one place where you have good South Indian coffees. So these places nowadays I enjoy. So that's how it is.
Okay. So my next question, there are two things. I'd like to invite you. There is this coffee festival happening in Geo World Drive on 29 November to 1st December. So let's go and explore. That is one thing. Second thing, I had done coffee with one of the coffee speakers, Dr. Drishti. She is a connoisseur of coffee. I want to have a coffee around the different blends. You with her, and I am facilitating. Let's plan out. This will be special because the way which you have explained about the different type of coffee and filter coffee and all those things places. Let's have this wonderful conversation. She's based in Australia right now, but the way she said, "Okay, I have researched about the coffee, different blends. I make my own blend." So it will be a wonderful conversation to have around this because why you're a coffee conversation. So it merges all together. Now let's come to your bucket list. As you said, trying different coffees. What are your bucket list for 2020? For now, only 1.5 months are remaining for your personal and professional.
So to be very frank, I'm a very simple person, but one thing that has taught me, so being a simple person, I don't really have that goal and aim of reaching to the height, reaching some really certain digits of salary and something. Of course, heading some legal department does help me with those things, but eventually, what I've learned from two persons, I mean, one Mr. Shaukat Merchant, and then our present directors, Mr. Ashok Jain, Uttam sir, and Praveen sir, and all. They have always been down to earth, and they were always having ki काम करते रहो, do your work, earn a lot, whatever you want, do it. But जिंदगी में किसी ना किसी को तो without expectation help करो. So that thing, I mean, we do, everyone does in their life with some small things. But to be very honest, in that bucket list, from my legal field, if I can help some needy people in the year 2024, 2025, 2026, every year in my bucket list, there needs to be one or two people whom I can do pro bono things, and that's something that I would value more than any other ambitions of mine.
That's very beautiful of supporting a what is your social cause through your ways and
Yeah.
good. But do you have a favorite destination or spot that helps you to recharge?
Uh, Destination would be, I think, beaches or something. I mean, I really enjoy walking on my beach. So I live near Villeparle. So Jew Beach is not too far away. So that's something helps me recharge, just walking around and going there. So walking and having a good stroll helps me recharge and relieve my stress if at all I have. And then, of course, meditating and yoga. I mean, that's something that really rejuvenates you. So that's something that I would really want.
Okay. Are there any books, movies, or shows that inspires you?
Um Books, I would say uh, Wings of Fire by APJ Abdul Kalam. That's one thing that has inspired me. Uh, then going to movies or something, any comedy movie, because I think serious movies don't really help me, because there is a lot already my life or anyone's life is so serious that you really don't want to add certain more seriousness to it. It's better you just relax with some good comedy movies or action movies.
Wow. Okay. So my last question: describe Aniket in one line.
Uh, Simple and uh, simple, a simple person.
Wow. Okay. Let's have some fun. The rapid fire round. Or you're a morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Okay. Your go-to comfort food.
Comfort food. Lord, Varan Bhat.
Okay. Your favorite color.
Black and white.
Favorite song.
Sorry.
Song.
Song. There was a Hindi movie, Laksha. So that same Laksha to.
Wow, that's a beautiful song. Okay. Best piece of advice you have ever received.
Uh, have your needs very minimalistic.
Beautiful. Beautiful you said. So my last question to end this. Tea or coffee? I
Coffee.
know, but
Coffee anytime. I mean, you can't replace it.
yeah, I'm also more of coffee, and I'm trying different blends filter coffee. Like now, I bought a filter coffee. I tried a different way of it was written to pour hot milk, but I had it in a cold milk to check it out. Okay, how is it tasting? Turned out very beautiful. Having a filter coffee in a form of a cold coffee. So you did very well, Aniket, and you get to win this book, Shaping the Agency Law of a Future. I'll autograph it and send it to your place to go through and say your inputs. So, friends, it was a lovely conversation we had with Aniket on our afternoon. So, he shared his insights into the legal world of pharma and medical. Do watch the episode. There are different insights, how he manages the relation with different stakeholders, how his journey is, and he is a coffee buff and a coffee connoisseur. And we will be having a special coffee conversation episode with a different coffee around the brews and how it is helping us coffee lovers. So watch out for this. There are over 200 plus episodes on the coffee conversation and the different series. If you want to be featured as a guest speaker, visit our social media, our website, emergingindiaforum.com. Leave a comment, fill the form. Our team will connect and invite you to be a guest speaker. Share your journey or a cup of coffee, and welcome to Coffee Tribe. So thank you. We meet with another guest speaker and a lovely, engaging conversation. Thank you.
Had a great time. Thanks a lot, Amir sir.